You don't realize it at first. It doesn't come with a loud announcement or a dramatic moment. It begins quietly, almost unnoticed. A subtle shift inside your chest, a calmness that doesn't make sense, a strength that doesn't come from your circumstances, because the moment you truly, deeply trust Allah, everything starts to change, even if nothing around you has changed yet. And that is where the real story begins. You have spent most of your life trying to control everything, planning every step, worrying about every outcome, losing sleep over things that haven't even happened. You tell yourself it's responsibility, that it's necessary, but deep down it feels heavy, like you're carrying something you were never meant to carry. Then one day, something inside you breaks, not in weakness, but in surrender. You stop trying to force everything to go your way. You stop believing that everything depends on you. And for the first time, you let go, not into emptiness, but into trust. At first, it feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable. You're used to anxiety, to overthinking, to trying to figure everything out. But now, there's a quiet voice inside you that says, let it be, not in defeat, but in certainty. You begin to understand that what is meant for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. This realization doesn't make life easier instantly, but it makes your heart lighter immediately. When you fully trust Allah, your relationship with uncertainty changes. Before, the unknown terrified you. It made you restless. It made you question everything. But now uncertainty becomes something else entirely. It becomes a space where your trust lives. You no longer need to see the full picture to move forward. You don't need every answer before taking the next step, because you know you are not walking alone. This trust begins to reshape the way you see your struggles. The pain you once saw as punishment starts to feel like preparation. The delays that frustrated you begin to feel like protection. The closed doors that once hurt you now look like redirection. And suddenly, your life is no longer a series of random events, and it becomes a carefully written story where every chapter has meaning, even the difficult ones. You start to notice something powerful. The things that used to shake you don't shake you the same way anymore. Problems still come, challenges still exist, but your reaction changes. There is a quiet strength in you now, a stability that wasn't there before. It's not that you don't feel pain, it's that the pain no longer controls you. You feel it, but you are not consumed by it. Because deep down, you know that whatever happens, there is wisdom behind it, even if you don't see it yet. Trusting Allah also changes the way you deal with people. You stop relying on them for things only Allah can give. You stop expecting perfection from imperfect people. You no longer break yourself trying to hold on to relationships that are not meant to stay. There is a dignity in the way you walk away now, not out of arrogance, but out of trust. You understand that if something leaves your life, it made space for something better, even if that better hasn't arrived yet. And then something even deeper happens. Your dua changes. It is no longer desperate or impatient, but it becomes calm, sincere, and certain. You no longer feel the need to rush the answer. You are no longer counting days or questioning why it hasn't happened yet. Instead, there is a quiet confidence in your heart. You ask, and then you leave it. Not because you don't care, but because you trust that the answer will come at the right time, in the right way. This kind of trust begins to free you from a prison you didn't even realize you were in. The prison of constant worry. The prison of needing everything to make sense. The prison of fear about the future. You start to live differently. You breathe differently. Even your silence feels different. There is peace in it now, not because your life is perfect, but because your heart is anchored. But here is the part most people don't talk about. Trusting Allah doesn't mean your life suddenly becomes easy. In fact, sometimes the tests become harder, but the difference is you are no longer the same person facing them. You are stronger now, calmer, more grounded. What used to break you now builds you. What used to confuse you now teaches you. And what used to scare you now brings you closer to Him. There are moments when everything still feels uncertain, moments when the outcome is unclear and the wait feels long. But instead of panic, you feel something else: patience. Not the kind that feels forced, but the kind that comes from deep belief. You remind yourself that delays are not denials, that silence is not abandonment, that what is being prepared for you may be far greater than what you asked for. And slowly, your entire mindset transforms. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" You stop focusing on what you lost and start appreciating what you still have. Gratitude begins to grow inside you, even in the middle of difficulty. Not because everything is going your way, but because you trust that everything is going according to a plan far greater than your understanding. This trust becomes your shield. When life tries to overwhelm you, it protects you. When doubts try to enter your heart, it pushes them away. When fear tries to take over, it reminds you that you are under the care of the one who controls everything. And suddenly, fear loses its power over you. You begin to walk through life with a quiet confidence that others notice but may not understand. It's not loud, it's not boastful. It's calm, steady, and deeply rooted. You are no longer chasing everything. You are no longer desperate for outcomes. You are simply doing your part and leaving the rest. And that changes everything. Because when you fully trust Allah, you stop living in constant tension. You stop exhausting yourself trying to control what is beyond you. You start to experience a kind of peace that cannot be explained, only felt. A peace that stays even when things are not going your way. A peace that doesn't depend on results. And that is when you realize trust is not just a feeling, it is a way of living. But there's still something deeper, something most people never reach. A level of trust so strong that even when everything seems to fall apart, your heart remains steady. A level where you don't just accept what happened, you are at peace with it. And that is where the real transformation begins. And this is where everything becomes different. Not on the outside, but within you. Because when your trust reaches this level, you no longer measure your life by what happens to you. You measure it by how connected you feel to Allah through it. Success is no longer just about gaining, and loss is no longer just about losing. Everything becomes a pathway, leading you somewhere deeper, somewhere more meaningful. You begin to experience a kind of peace that doesn't break under pressure. When things go wrong, you don't collapse the way you used to. There is a pause within you now, a moment where your heart settles before your mind reacts. And in that moment, you remember, you are not in control, and you were never meant to be. That realization no longer scares you, it comforts you. There will be days when life tests you in ways you never expected, days when things don't make sense, when plans fall apart, when doors close without warning. But instead of spiraling, you stand firm, not because you have all the answers, but because you trust the one who does. You understand that even this moment, as heavy as it feels, is not outside of His knowledge or care. And something powerful happens in these moments. You stop asking for the situation to change immediately, and instead, you begin asking for strength within it. You stop focusing only on the outcome and you begin to value the growth. You realize that sometimes what you are becoming is far more important than what you are receiving. This level of trust transforms your patience into something unshakable. You are no longer waiting with frustration, you are waiting with certainty. Even when time stretches longer than you hoped, even when the answer doesn't come the way you imagined, your heart remains anchored because you know that what is written for you will reach you, no matter how delayed it seems. You also begin to let go of comparisons. You no longer look at others and question your own journey. You no longer feel behind or left out because you understand that your path is uniquely designed for you. What others receive quickly may not be what is best for you, and what you are being prepared for may require time, patience, and experiences that others never go through. Trusting Allah at this level also changes how you handle your lowest moments. When you feel weak, you don't feel abandoned. When you feel lost, you don't feel alone. There is a quiet reassurance in your heart that even in your darkest moments, you are still being guided. Even when you can't see the way forward, you trust that there is a way. And then comes a moment that makes everything clear. It may not happen instantly, and it may not come the way you expect. But one day, you look back. You look at the things that once confused you, the situations that once hurt you, the delays that once frustrated you, and suddenly it all makes sense. Not perfectly, not completely, but enough for your heart to feel at peace. You realize that what you thought was a setback was actually protection. What you thought was a loss was actually a redirection. What you thought was a delay was actually perfect timing. And in that moment, your trust deepens even more, because now you have seen it for yourself. This is when gratitude reaches a different level. It is no longer just for the good moments. You begin to feel grateful for everything, even the hardships, because you understand that without those moments, you would not have become who you are now. You would not have learned what you now know. You would not have built the strength you now carry. And with this understanding, fear begins to lose its grip on you completely. You are no longer afraid of what might happen tomorrow. You are no longer overwhelmed by the uncertainty of the future, because you have seen what happens when you trust Allah. And you know that no matter what comes, you will be taken care of in ways you cannot imagine. Your life may still have challenges, it may still have ups and downs, but your heart is no longer the same. It is steady, it is calm, it is at peace, not because everything is perfect, but because your trust is complete. You walk through life differently now. There is a quiet strength in your steps, a calmness in your decisions, a clarity in your thoughts. You no longer chase everything, and you no longer fear losing everything. You simply move forward, doing your part and leaving the rest with full confidence. And this is the reality most people are searching for without realizing it. Not a life without problem, but a heart without chaos. Not a future without uncertainty, but a soul that is not shaken by it. Because when you fully trust Allah, you are not just changing how you handle life, you are changing who you are within it. And that is the true transformation. A transformation where worry is replaced with peace, where fear is replaced with certainty, where struggle is replaced with purpose. A transformation where no matter what happens next, your heart remains unshaken, because now you trust.